Hey everyone, so today's lesson is about solving equations with variables on both sides. This is also called multi-step equations. Now, I like to call it variables on both sides because it literally explains what we're doing is we have an equation and we have variables on both sides of the equal sign. And so our essential question today is how can I simplify and solve an equation with variables on both sides? So these rules are going to look very similar to the ones for our two-step equations. So we're going to draw a line and box our variable. That does not change. The only new thing for 8th grade is that we are going to combine our variables, meaning we're going to move the smaller box to the bigger box. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So we're going to do the opposite, and then we'll do the opposite operation outside the box to both sides and the opposite operation inside the box to both sides. So that is just like a 7th grade equation. So basically what we're trying to do is we're going to simplify it and we want to work our way back to solving a 7th grade equation. So that way we already know the steps: opposite outside the box, opposite inside the box. So the only thing new for 8th grade is combining our variables. So I'm gonna work through some examples to show you what it kind of looks like. So let's say first we have 4x, a little bit bigger. So if I have 4x plus 2 equals 2x plus 10. All right, so we don't change our first two steps, so we're still going to draw a line and box our variables. Now, once I do that, I'm going to see which box is smaller. So on the left, I have 4x's. On the right, I have 2x's. Well, I know I'd rather have $4 than $2. So I'm going to move the right 2x over to the left side. So in order to do that, I'm going to get rid of it on the right side by doing the opposite operation. So if I have a positive 2x, that means I need to take away 2x or subtract 2x. And 2x minus 2x is going to be 0. So it cancels over here on the right-hand side. Now, remember, if I do something to the right side, I have to do the same thing to the left side. So I'm going to come over here and subtract 2x. So that leaves me with 2x plus 2 equals 10. And now we are back to an 7th grade level two-step equation. So I'm going to box my variable. I'm going to do the opposite outside the box. So the opposite of plus 2 is minus 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. It cancels on the left. I have positive 8 left over on the right-hand side. And we have 2x equals 8. Now for my last step, I need to get rid of the 2. So the opposite of multiplying, because remember when the 2 and the x are touching inside the box, that means multiplying. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. And so if I divide by 2, which is the opposite of multiply by 2, it essentially cancels and leaves me with 1x. But if I divide the left side by 2, I have to divide the right side by 2. And we get x equals 4. So this is going to be the first example. All right, so let's go through another couple of examples that look just a little bit different. So let's say this time I'm going to have a negative 3x plus 5 equals 2x minus 15. All right, so we're still going to draw our line and box our variables. Now, notice how I boxed my x on the left side with the negative and the 3. So I have a negative 3x on my left and a positive 2x on my right. Now, yes, the 3 is a bigger number. However, positive 2 is greater than negative 3, right? We would all rather have $2 than owe one of our friends $3. So because it is a greater value, we're wanting to move the negative 3 over to the right. So we want to eliminate it from the left side, and we do that by doing the opposite. So the opposite of a negative 3x is a positive 3x. So if I add 3x to the left, I'm going to add 3x to the right. Over here on the left, that's going to cancel for me. 2x plus 3x is 5x. And I'm left with 5x minus 15 equals a positive 5. So we're going to box our variable again, right? And now we're back to a 7th grade level equation. So we're going to do opposite outside the box. So plus 15. Remember, I'm trying to isolate my variable by moving everything away from the right-hand side. Because if my variable's on the right side now, I want to get everything away. We need to get it by itself or isolated. So negative 15 plus 15 is 0, so it cancels. But remember, if I do something to the right, I have to do it to the left. I get 20 equals 5x. And the last step to isolate my variable or get it by itself, we're going to divide the right-hand side by 5 and divide the left-hand side by 5. And we're left with 4 equals x. All right, so one more example. Let's say that we have a negative x plus 8 equals negative 3x plus 14. So same thing, first two steps, we're going to draw our line and box our variables. Once again, notice how I boxed them with the negative sign that is in front. So we have a negative x and then a negative 3x on the right-hand side. Now, what I like to do is anytime we have a negative x or just an x by itself, like we do over here on the left, I'm going to add the 1 in front. So if there is not a number in front of a variable, you can assume that it is a 1. So I have a negative 1 and a negative 3. Now, I would rather owe my friends $1 than $3. So the greater value is the negative 1x, so I'm going to get rid of the negative 3x. I'm going to add 3x to the right-hand side. I'm going to add 3x to the left-hand side. All right, so on the right side, we're going to cancel it off. A 3 and a negative 1 are going to combine to be a positive 2. Different sign, we subtract, the bigger number takes the sign. I'm left with 2x plus 8 equals 14. We are now back to a 7th grade level equation. Box our variable. Do the opposite outside the box. So instead of plus 8, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. And my last step is we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. Cancels on the left. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that is how you solve multi-step equations. It's essentially the exact same as what we were doing before and what you guys did in 7th grade. The only difference is this step 3 right here where we're going to combine your variable by moving the smaller box to the bigger box.